time around, the quote comes from Teddy Roosevelt, the first Roosevelt to serve as president of the United States. And TR said this: do what you can with what you have where you are. Do what you can with what you have where you are. It's, I think Teddy Roosevelt is one of those who is sort of famous for saying a whole lot with a few words. And that's one of the things that he is doing right there, because it's very true. It's like, control the things that you can control in your current circumstances. And that's really what all you can do in life. And I think that's those are great, wise words.
They are. I mean, a lot of people, and forgive me for saying this, a lot of people just like to make excuses of why they're not where they thought they would be. And I think his quote is just so powerful. It's powerful advice for anybody who is planning for retirement, no matter their current stage in life or no matter their current financial situation. So I kind of want to break down each one of those, statements. Do what you can. Well, that means take action, no matter how small that action may be. A lot of people delay retirement planning because they simply just feel overwhelmed, or they think that they don't have enough money to make a difference. But, Teddy's wisdom reminds us that progress beats perfection. Okay. And whether it's starting a very small monthly contribution to an IRA, or maybe it's cutting a few expenses just to reduce some debt, right? Taking any step forward actually matters. Small, consistent actions, they actually compound over time. Matt, what do you think about that?
I love that, because, and I think you said it right there in the beginning, where, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, right? I mean, it's like, right. Don't just always strive to, well, if I do this, it's not going to get me right where I want to be. Yeah, but it's a step along the way. It's a step in that direction. Right. So, as much as we love instant gratification these days, it's not always possible, but get yourself moving in the right direction.
No doubt. So, do what you can was the first part. With what you have means that you need to be able to leverage your current resources. And you might not have a very large income or a very large savings yet, but guess what? You do have something, whether it is a 401k, maybe you have some equity tied up in your home, maybe you're already drawing some Social Security benefits, maybe you have time, maybe you have knowledge, but you need to be able to maximize what is already in your hands. Contribute to your employer's retirement plan. Educate yourself about investment options, or create a spending plan that actually prioritizes saving and investing. It is about using what is actually available rather than just waiting for that perfect setup.
I love it. Not everybody has just a pot of, millions of dollars sitting around and are able to do all of the things that they want to do, no matter what those things are. It doesn't matter how much you have as far as your resources go. You can make moves that do actually matter and do make a difference in your financial situation. No matter what your situation is, you can get toward that better place. And hey, maybe you'll get to that point where you've got those millions of dollars just, sitting there waiting on you to do something with them.
That's right. So, do what you can with what you have. And the third part is where you are. So people have to understand that you can start from whatever your current circumstances are. Maybe you are 25 years old and you have a lot of student debt, or you're 45 years old and you have kids in high school or in college, which, as we all know, for those of us parents who have had them in high school and college, kids are expensive. Or maybe you're 60 years old and you're feeling a little bit behind. And so his quote reminds you to not compare your journey to other people, or not wish that you had started earlier. I mean, heck, everybody wishes they had started earlier, right? But you understand, or need to understand, that you can start where you are, not where you wish you were. And every stage of life offers different opportunities to prepare, whether it is taking advantage of catch-up contributions or maybe reassessing your goals and your timelines, okay? His quote is a call to personal responsibility and practical courage. Retirement planning is not about waiting for all of the stars to align. It is about acting wisely and intentionally with what you have today. So let's talk about a couple of those age groups. All right, 30 years old, you're got limited income, you have no retirement savings, you're early in your career, you probably have student loans, right? But what you do have is the biggest advantage, and that is time. Okay. If you have an employer 401k with a match, great. Okay. So start contributing just enough to get that full employer match because it's free money. Set up automatic increases. In other words, every year that you work, you're going to bump your contribution to your 401k or 403b or TSP. You're going to increase it by 1 or 2% each and every single year, and then build a simple emergency fund to help avoid dipping into retirement later on. And so the impact there is that small early contributions can grow massively over 30 plus years thanks to compound interest. And the match that you get from your employer accelerates that growth. All right. Now, maybe you're 50, you got kids in college, you're behind in retirement. You've got high expenses, limited savings. Okay. You're in the middle to late career, but what you do have is higher income potential and you have catch-up contribution eligibility. So doing what you can reassess your budget and redirect cash flow as kids leave the house. That frees up funds. You can use your catch-up contributions in your 401k or your IRA, which is an extra $7,500 in a 401k for this year, 2025. You can get a retirement income plan, which, by the way, is what we specialize in, to help you understand what is possible and not just ideal. And so with focused effort, with smart strategies like reducing tax drag, all right, you can still create meaningful retirement security in that final stretch of your working career. And then let's look at maybe you're age 63, you're retiring soon, you have modest savings. You're literally knocking on the doorstep of retirement. That's funny. I knocked and my dog barked. Social Security eligibility is there. Maybe you have your house paid off. In a couple of years, you're going to be eligible for Medicare. So you might consider delaying Social Security to age 67 or maybe even 70 if possible to increase those lifetime benefits. You could, although this is very, very specific, consider a reverse mortgage or maybe downsizing if income needs are tightening around you. And you can shift your savings to safer, guaranteed income tools like annuities to cover those essentials. And by optimizing your existing resources and avoiding risky decisions, you can create a plan that provides stability and peace of mind, even with limited assets. Matt?
Yeah, that's great because, I think it just highlights the fact that, right, exactly what you were saying there, that no matter what your current situation is, it's not always going to be what your current situation is in the future. Future you will thank you if you make even just those small moves, those small decisions, those small choices right now and make a huge difference down the road, especially thanks to compound interest and especially thanks to consistency on your part and just, committing to doing those little things. And it doesn't have to be some difficult, huge, burdensome thing. It can be an easier thing than that. And so that is, it's just great. And I think that it's one reason to, folks, if you are seemingly overwhelmed by just the thought of, getting your financial house in order or planning for retirement, making sure that you've got enough set aside, making sure that what you do have now is going to be able to last you through your retirement. If all of that gives you more gray hairs and more ulcers in your tummy, then what you need to do is give Mike Zaino a call because he can guide you through it and give you that peace of mind. The number, once again, 704-560-1573, or you can go online, moneymatterswithmike.com.
Yeah, I think Matt, that Roosevelt's quote there is just a mindset shift from excuses, okay, that a lot of people love to give about why they're not where they wanted to be, to empowerment. And the key is, no matter where you start, is intentional action. And you don't need perfect conditions. You just have to have the willingness to act decisively, and not later down the road, to do it now. So that's what I encourage each and every single one of you listeners to do, is take control of your hard-earned savings for retirement, not down the road. Do it now.